Now, typical Man City is that no matter how difficult it is, they will do the do.
They will do it, yeah.
Yeah, they will do it. And so, once again, congratulations to all Man City fans, to the Man City team, and to Man City fans in Ghana listening to us, and especially the adopted Man City supporters this morning, including Winston.
We take
all as Man City for today. Well, let me take a moment to remind listeners that my next play is I Slept With Your Wife on the 25th of June. The early bird tickets are still out there. You'll find them at the outlets, and Winston will let you have more details after I am done with this presentation.
Sure.
Winston, every day, you and I make decisions and judgments that are based on information given us by others, especially people we think are trustworthy. But have we ever thought that most of what we are told may be false, and that in acting on them, we may be doing the will of a dubious person? In other words, it is possible that you are being manipulated by someone's lie, a lie that is meant to benefit that person, often to your detriment or that of another person. Let me tell you a story to illustrate my point.
Okay.
In the late 70s, Youth for Christ used to meet on the premises of a major Christian organization right here in Accra. Then one day, we turned up for one of our regular meetings, only to be told by the security man that management had instructed him not to allow us entry from that day on. Our permission meeting on the premises of this organization had been revoked. Now, I knew the CEO of the organization. He was one of my mentors. And so the very next day, I went to see him in his office to find out what was going on. The godly man told me that management had been told that we, that is, we, the Youth for Christ boys, had been messing the premises up and had been doing all kinds of immoral things, including having sex with the girls.
Oh.
I was shocked. We had been very careful with how we conduct ourselves on the premises. Indeed, we're the kind of people who were careful with how we conducted ourselves anywhere. Indeed, we always clean up the place before a meeting and after a meeting. As for carrying on with immoral behavior, that was a joke. We're not saints, but we're not into that. I tried to explain to my mentor that his information was wrong, but the information had come from the head of sales and had been collaborated by the warehouse manager. And so he had decided to go with what he had been told instead of what I was telling him. The closure of the premises to us destabilized our activities for some time, but we finally found another place to meet. About a year later, I received word that there had been a change of leadership at the organization, and the new leader, the new CEO, wanted us to return to using the premises for our meetings once again. Now, I knew this new CEO as well. At the time, I was actually a tenant in a block of flats belonging to his mother. So I went to see him to find out why he wanted us back. And this is the story he told me. When he took over the leadership of the organization, he ordered an audit, and the results showed huge shortages of stock. When they analyzed the results, it showed clearly that the shortages had happened soon after we were stopped from using the place.
I see.
He went back and tried to understand why our absence had coincided with an explosion of theft of stocks. It was then that he discovered that the theft had been spearheaded or masterminded by the head of sales and the warehouse manager. They carried out their nefarious activities after working hours when the management members had closed and gone home. Now, because our meetings came on in the evenings and we were apparently making it difficult for them to cut the goods away, and that was why they had gone to management with a falsehood about us to get a board to get us from meeting there. And once we were locked out of the premises, there was nothing to stop them from looting the organization, which they did to the tune of millions of cedis. The old boss of the organization had acted on falsehood to shut the door to us. And in the process, he had cost the organization millions of cedis. My kid brother, Bernard, played briefly for Cape Coast Ebushia Drafts before coming to Accra to play for Accra House of Folk.
Okay.
While he was with Drafts, I visited him once on the eve of a derby match with Vipers. Now, you must understand that the rivalry between Drafts and Vipers had been very fierce. That evening, whilst hanging out with Bernard and some of the management staff of Drafts, some of the supporters rushed on the management staff, demanding that one particular player be dropped from the match. The player in question was the best player in the Drafts squad at the time. And so the demand was strange. The supporters explained that they had picked up very reliable information that the player in question had gone to take bribe from the Vipers management to throw the match. The player in question denied accusation, but the supporters were adamant that their source was very reliable and threatened mayhem if the player was not dropped. The management team had no choice but to do the bidding of the supporters. And of course, the next day, Drafts lost to Vipers. I was later told, it was later that I was told that this was a trick by Vipers. In their quest to beat Drafts, the Vipers supporters always spread a rumor about the best player of Drafts at the time and claimed that they have given him a bribe. When the Draft supporters hear this, they charge on their management to demand that the named player be dropped for the match. And they get so insistent about it that the management has no choice but to drop the player, with the result that Drafts face Vipers always with a weakened team. It is disturbing to see how easily we can all be manipulated with lies to do the will of people with dubious intentions. And this happens more often because most of us do not know how to investigate reports we receive. When we receive any report, we look at the source, and if it is a source we trust, we take the report as the truth, and then we act on it. And yet, the evidence is overwhelming that even a trustworthy source can turn untrustworthy anytime. Listen, it would be a wonderful world if we could hold judgment until we have given those named in any report the chance to defend themselves. But unfortunately, that is not what happens. And so many of us have suffered unjustly because someone wanted us out of the way and told a lie about us, and no one gave us a chance to defend ourselves. But even more unfortunate is that even those who have suffered this kind of injustice often also visit it on others. We know it is painful and unfair to be judged when we have not been given the chance to defend ourselves. And yet, it is very easy to also judge someone without giving them the chance to defend themselves. Oh, it would be a wonderful world if every report would be investigated. It would be a wonderful world if we would be given the chance to clear the air anytime a lie is told about us. But unfortunately, that is not what happens, and it is sad. And Winston, that is my report for today.
Thank you very, very much. This is food for thought. Don't be in a hurry. Once you're told something about another person, always take your time to investigate, because for all you know, you may have been told a lie. And yes. So, thank you very, very much, Uncle Ibowai, for joining us. We're grateful.
And good day, Winston. Enjoy the week, actually.
Sure, we will. Thank you very much. That's Uncle Ibowai with Food for Thought here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Time now for the Joy Business Minute, brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with